Good evening, wine friends. It's a nice evening, and it's already autumn. The weather is getting cold outside. We have a couple of degrees only outside, and it's slowly but surely red wine drinking time. And there is a wine that probably, if you have seen one of our last videos, we had already on it. A wine that comes from a winery close to Tashkent called Uzbek, and they produce this wine called Nuara, and it's a 100% Pinot Noir. And I like to taste it together with you with another Pinot Noir from the origin region where the grape variety is coming from. This wine is from Bourgogne, and it comes from a producer called Marquis d'Angerville, and it's a wine that comes from the winery, so it is just Bourgogne, so the lowest quality level that they are producing, and it's a 2020 vintage, while this year is obviously a 2023 vintage bottled in 2024. They are both at 13% of alcohol, 2 times Pinot Noir, as mentioned already. Yeah, now let's have a taste. You might intend that the Pinot Noir and Pinot Noir would end up to be the same. So, yeah, just look at the color. Pinot Noir is a grape variety with a very light skin, so it doesn't give you a lot of color. There are much darker skinned grape varieties on the market, especially Cabernet Sauvignon, for instance, could be extremely dark. But this one is very light. And if you do a smell on this, it's really very much fruit driven. So we swivel the glass a little bit, and we smell, and it's fruit driven. It's red fruit. I could not really identify which fruit. I think it's a bunch of fruit, red, ripe but not overripe. A little bit of black pepper, not too much. And if it were sip now, very juicy, very refreshing. It comes up immediately. It's mouth-filling, it's intense, but it's not strong. It's light. It's light in taste, light in body, very mellow. Yeah. But it's not over complex. It's a wine that, we pulled the cork a few minutes ago. So you pour it and it's ready to drink. So a perfect wine here in this area. I would have this with a classic broth, made with chicken, made with probably even beef, maybe not with lamb. If it would be with lamb, then probably the next wine that we have here would be the better choice. But this would go, for instance, also with a stronger cheese, for instance, which has a little bit more flavor and a little bit more intensity, because then the fruitiness and the freshness of these wines are balancing it. They balance it out and make it more convenient to do it together.
What type of cheese do you have in mind?
Yeah, for instance, let's see an aged Gouda, an aged cheddar cheese of this type. Something like this would be a great fit with this one, I guess. And because it's simply fun to put it together. We don't have strong tannins here. We have young fruit. It's not overripe. It's not over-extracted. It's light, and it shows in a super way the quality of the fruit. And it's a very well done, very well made wine. So far, my favorite Uzbekistan Pinot Noir here from Uzbek. This is very well made. It's young. So if there is a difference now to the next one, then it must come from a couple of reasons. And this is what I want to investigate now together with you. So remember the color, and I will now have a sip from the next wine.
quick question for you. The younger one, the baby, what I call it.
Yeah.
Would you say that we can't age this one, right? We still have to drink it within a reasonably quick period of time.
I would say it is in a very good drinking window already. It's made to be consumed quite as soon as possible. I guess you could drink this in 2-3 years as well. It will not be bad. It will still be an interesting wine, but there is not very much acidity. There's not very much body. The alcohol is not extremely high. You have almost no recognizable tannins. So I guess this was quite a short time to extract it, and it was not really aged all for a long time. So just for a few months to really stabilize it. It was properly filtered and then bottled at an early stage, and that's why it is made for quite an early consumption. So it's not a wine which I would age for 10 or 15 years.
This is the fast and ready wine.
More or less, it is like this. But definitely, it's a good quality. So it's definitely wine which can age, and there are for sure Pinot Noirs which are much worse than this one. So that's not a quality issue. It's just the way of winemaking in this case, and the purpose, what for it was made for.
So it's fit for purpose.
Absolutely. And this is always the case, by the way, and it's always the case also with a wine like this here now. Marquis de Angeville. And look at the color. You will see this for sure. We will show you in a second as well. Pinot Noir. Burgundy, as I mentioned already, it's the origin of the famous Pinot Noir grape. Pinot Noir is also the mother of a couple of other grape varieties. For instance, Pinot Gris, for instance, Pinot Blanc, so white wine grape varieties. And it's also related to Chardonnay and so on and so on. Very, very old grape variety. And Burgundy is supposed to be the area where the most famous Burgundy wines in the world are produced nowadays, and already since a couple of centuries. Marquis de Angeville is a very famous producer with a long tradition, and they are situated in a village at the Côte d'Or called Volnay. And Volnay is one of these sub-appellations in Burgundy, which is famous for a lighter but very intensive and very complex style of Pinot Noir. That comes due to the soil and due to the area where it is, that it's a little bit cooler, and the soil has a lot of limestone in there, and this is driving then afterwards the style of the wines. But here it is not so much about the appellation, because this is a basic Burgundy. You have here just Bourgogne. Bourgogne is nothing else than Burgundy. So it means this would be a cuvée of all the wines that Marquis de Angeville at the winery decided to put in this. So it's the basic wine quality. It's nothing special. You have a village wine called at the label Volnay, and then you have a couple of Premier Crus, and a couple of their Premier Crus are really famous. And price-wise, of course, we cannot really compare the two wines, because here we are around $10 if it comes to US dollars, and here we are around $70 if it comes to US dollars. So this is not fair to compare price-wise. Although, of course, we know that the labor and production costs here in Uzbekistan are much lower. Still, this is something that is produced also in a different way. And we see it already from the color. It's darker, it's more pale ruby. Of course, it's still pale. I can see my finger here easily through the glass. But it's darker, and the color type is different. That has also to do with the clones, which is a more complicated topic that maybe leads too much now in the wrong direction. But the winemaking is a different story here. So, and if I do a smell here, then I can here identify clearly also red fruit, but it's not only red fruit. I have here definitely red cherry. I have sour cherry here. I have clearly black pepper here. I have a little bit of whetstone. I have a little bit of mushrooms, and all this makes me assuming that the extraction process, which means nothing else than the time the grapes were given on the skins after harvesting, before fermentation, was much longer than with this wine here. So they gave it maybe 1 day, maybe even 2 days, because they wanted to create a wine which is more age-worthy. And the second proof for that is it's from the year 2020, and this wine was released only in 2022. That means after 1.5 up to 2 years of aging in a barrel. Definitely have used just used barrels for this, so not new ones, because I don't have this typical vanilla influence and so on. But it was a neutral barrel that didn't give any taste to the wine.
So the barrel provided no influence at all. There's no flavor coming from the barrel.
Yes, nothing from the barrel. But definitely it was in a wet which for a longer time. And what we have here in your mouth, you immediately feel as well much stronger tannin. All of this is still light, and all of this is well balanced. It's quite well integrated. It's very different in the way it tastes, and this goes with different kind of dishes, in my opinion. So maybe not with a super heavy steak or something like this, but with let's say we have the broth with lamb, for instance. Mm-hmm. This wine would cope much better with it, because it has the backbone not only from the acidity from the body itself, but also from the tannins, which are not so much here in place, mm-hmm. but here they are definitely giving body and giving additional complexity to the wine as such.
Okay, so the tannins will work better with the red meats, and the lack of tannins with the other will work with a stronger cheese, because it will not conflict with
absolutely. If I have a cheese with this, I would have really a light cheese, maybe a fresh cheese. This one would be definitely, for instance, would be nice probably with one of these typically famous Burgundy cheeses. Burgundy is also famous for cheese, so maybe a Poire, something like this would be great with this. That's a cheese more intensive than the Camembert, for instance, which is made the same way. It's much more fresh and much more milky in the taste. That could work quite well with this.
I think so.
Yeah. Despite this, it's also really refreshing. Fruit-driven, not too complex. But all these wines, this is the basic product, and for sure the red wine of Maquis d'Angerville, where they produce most of the bottles, most of the quantity. So it is a kind of signature wine to them. And I can say Maquis d'Angerville, everybody who knows Burgundy knows that we talk here about one of the top 10 or 15 wineries in Burgundy. And this is definitely a wine that if you have a chance once in your lifetime to get hold of one of these bottles, maybe even one of the Village or Premier Crus, then you should try this one. Yeah, I hope you liked our small video here. Pinot Noir, a very, very interesting grape variety, and I'm already looking forward. If you really liked it, then please subscribe. Give us a like to this video, and we are waiting at the next one. Thank you a lot, and have a nice day. Cheers. By the way, our conclusion was that we always will give a rating to the wines that we have in our glass. So we briefly add this here. I would rate this Uzbek Pinot wine with 15 of 20 points. It is a good quality wine. It's refreshing. It's nice. It's approachable. It's not super complex. Easy accessible. Have it now and drink it within the next 2-3 years. Really, really, really well done. And the other one, Maquis d'Angerville, Bourgogne Pinot Noir, I would rate it 16 points. So slightly higher than the other one. simply because of the winemaking and the age worthiness. And of course, everybody who knows the high classified wines of Matillango will knows that this is really the basic wine, and they are all fitting together as you add up in the range then. So very well done. And yeah, I hope we see each other very soon. Thank you.